Hi everyone, welcome back to Vegan November and the second to last day in this series. And so for breakfast yesterday I made some potato pancakes with mustard mushrooms. For this I just first peeled and grated one large potato, then squeezed out the excess water. I then heated up some oil in a pan and divided the mix into three. I placed them in the pan and flattened them into mini pancakes with my spatula. I allowed them to cook for around 10 minutes on one side, and in that time I chopped up a large handful of mushrooms. Then I added those to a small pan with a drop of oil. I fried them off until they were brown with a little salt and black pepper, and then I went back to the pancakes and I flipped those over to cook on the other side. Once the mushrooms were pretty much cooked, I added in 1 teaspoon of whole grain mustard and gave it another good stir. I then served up the potato pancakes, and I then added 1 handful of frozen spinach to the pan that they were in, and I wilted that down for about a minute or so. I then topped the potato pancakes with the spinach and then added the mustard mushrooms on top. This is my Sunday morning kind of breakfast. I've made these in videos before, but they're so delicious. I top them with all sorts: fried tomatoes, fried onions, baked beans, avocados. I also sometimes do it as one large pancake too. It's a great filling breakfast or brunch idea. For a mid-morning snack I made this Cacao Satsuma mix. I simply just peeled 2 satsumas and I placed those in a dish with a handful of cacao nibs mixed in. This time of year I'm loving all things chocolate orange flavoured, and that's where I was trying to go with this. It just changes things up from a plate of fruit on its own, and the crunchiness and the bitterness of the cacao nibs works really nicely with the juicy sweet satsuma. For lunch I made a vegetable soup. For this I just firstly finely diced 1 white onion and I added that to a pan on a medium heat with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I fried those off until soft, and then I sliced up 2 leeks, added those to the pan too and cooked them down. I then added in 1 tablespoon of chickpea flour, which acts as a thickener for the soup, 2 teaspoons of dried herbs, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 2 bay leaves. I next added in 1 large tablespoon of tomato paste, fried that off all together before then chopping up 3 tomatoes, and I then added those to the pan and mixed it well. I next added in 1 cup of haricot beans and then 1 340 gram jar of potatoes, carrots and peas, which I drained, and then 1.5 pints of vegetable stock. I seasoned it with salt and black pepper, mixed it well again, brought it up to a boil and then left it to simmer with the lid on for 25 minutes. I then served that up in a bowl and I added some sweet potato crackers on top as an alternative to croutons. I always have these tins or jars of these vegetables in my cupboard because they're great for soups, but also for veggie burgers and curries and so many more things. And this is just a great hearty vegetable soup with a herby tomato base, which is just what I needed on this day because it was so gloomy and dull, hence how bad the lighting is in this video. This actually serves 4 people, but if you have any remaining soup it can be refrigerated once cool for up to 2 days and frozen in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks. I had this full bowl and then I went back for another half a bowl because it's so good. For an afternoon snack I had these The Giving Tree mixed vegetable crisps. These are basically vacuum fried pieces of pumpkin and broccoli. In fact, I think I've mentioned the broccoli ones on their own before, but these are really delicious. They have the same nutritional values as fresh vegetables. They're also high in minerals and fibre, but they're nice and crunchy, packed full of natural flavour, and they're a great snack for on the go too. For dinner I made a vegetable chickpea flour pizza with Herby fries. For the fries I first preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius. I then thinly sliced up 2 large potatoes and I placed those on a lined baking tray, drizzled over 2 teaspoons of olive oil and sprinkled over 2 tablespoons of dried basil. I mixed those really well, spread them out evenly, and then I placed that in the oven for around 30 minutes. I then made the chickpea pizza base by mixing 2 cups of chickpea flour with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of dried basil, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, salt and ground black pepper together with 1 cup of water until it was smooth. I then poured that out into a greased pan on a low heat, cooked it on both sides for a few minutes each, and then I flipped it out onto a lined baking tray. It doesn't matter if it breaks here, mine usually does, and I almost mould it back together with my spatula. I then placed that in the oven for around 15 minutes, and in that time I heated up some marinara sauce. I'll have the link to my recipe for this in the description box below. And I chopped up some toppings for my pizza, some mushrooms, red pepper, green pepper, red onion, and then I removed the base from the oven, spread the sauce on top, added on the veg. I also had some thawed spinach which I added on, and some sweet corn too. I placed that back in the oven for around another 10 minutes or so. I then served up the herb fries in a dish and then the pizza on a large plate, and I cut that into slices and then topped it with some nutritional yeast as the cheese. I've tried so many plant-based pizza bases before, cauliflower, quinoa, and they all seem to dry out a tiny bit, though the crust is still really crispy. I find they're best cut up and eaten, but I can still manage to pick this up and eat it. Usually I would honestly be able to eat a large pizza for myself, but because the chickpea flour is obviously very protein dense, this is incredibly filling, and obviously we had the fries to go with it, which taste amazing as well. You can add whichever toppings you like. I love artichoke on pizza, fresh pineapple, olives, but I don't think I could actually fit any more on top of this one. For dessert I just had a orange spice hot chocolate. For this I heated up 1 cup of almond milk in a small pan on a low heat, and I stirred it until it heated through. Once that was warm, I then took the Choc Shot's spiced orange flavour and added 4 teaspoons into the pan. It's the most amazing, thick, rich liquid chocolate, and I gave that a really good stir until it was smooth, and then I poured it out into a cup. Hot chocolate is my go-to comfort drink this time of year, and made with the Choc Shot, it's so simple. Yeah, it's honestly the best hot chocolate I've ever had, especially the spiced orange flavour. It tastes exactly like chocolate orange, but it's not all too sweet or sickly, and the best part is it's all natural. I really hope you guys enjoyed this vegan November video. I will have all of the recipes written up in the description box below for you, and I'll see you again soon for the last video in the series. Thanks for watching. Bye!